Hi guys! Jake and Marisa back again for more live reactions to Power Rangers Super Ninja Steel.
I almost said Kaito Sentai Super Ranger.
And again this week we had to rework things with the live stream. I don't know why we're having trouble all of a sudden.
It's a mess. Everything's a mess.
Like this is the second week in a row where we had to refresh it and start it over.
And yeah,
because it just wouldn't go live.
Would not go live. Go live. Fail live. Lie live.
Yeah. So Marissa's working on sharing the new link.
Yes, I am.
So hopefully that'll be fine.
There goes Facebook and
in the Twitters. So
Tweeters. I'm gonna tweet it.
Hopefully that'll help people find us still.
I got this.
Yeah, you got this. Alright. But, hey, you guys are following us. It's great. We already got, we've just been back online for, a minute, and we already got, 9-10 people in here.
Sweet.
So, hey, Master Rider Blue, Gokai Orange, The A Games, Zafira Hassan, Dan, Bright, Caleb, Scott, and others, in case I did not mention, who may have already popped in. Great to see you guys.
You had our new
once
friend,
again.
Kamen Rider Blue.
Yep. Who's blaming Evox for this? Evox being the reported villain for Beast Morphers next year.
Okay.
So that's fair. Alright, so thank you guys again for your patience. I appreciate that so much.
That is not the link I wanted. Keep going.
Okay, you're still working on sharing that. Okay, so, as far as new stuff going on this week, still no new, unfortunately, still no new reports on, power reviews. Honestly, right now, I'm just kind of shifting gears in terms of priorities to just sort of, volunteer going into Election Day, so I'm probably not going to be doing too much editing. I really want to try and do my part this year. I feel like I haven't volunteered enough in the past. So, today I went door to door.
Going door to door.
Yeah, I did the canvassing. I went through a list of, about a list and a half of names. So I went through 60 names. So I feel like that was a pretty productive day.
You were also intimidated by chickens.
Yes. There was a one house where I was followed by half a dozen chickens, which was very unexpected because you don't usually walk around expecting to be followed by chickens.
Followed by chickens is definitely abnormal.
Yes. Although, oddly enough, I did run into chickens last Saturday, too. Despite visiting far fewer houses, there were still plenty of chickens there, too. They just weren't as interested in me as this week's chickens.
I gotta get the chat, but in doing so, I had to open the thing, and then we were going to have a, what do you call it,
Yeah, we were gonna
all right, I got the chat.
All right, so yeah, that's what I've been up to, and this week was Halloween and all that stuff.
No Lupin versus Power Ranger this week.
Really? We have a week off? Oh, that's interesting.
It is interesting.
We'll have to keep that in mind. I don't know what we might do instead.
Describe Brody Romero in 3 words.
Describe Brody Romero in 3 words. This is epic. I think that works.
Where's my dad?
This is epic. Alright. So the word is out on the Facebook and the Twitters.
And the tweeters.
But yeah, we're going into the penultimate episode. Last week was the penultimate episode. For Brody.
Yes.
Oh, poor Will Schufelt. I feel like he's trying. It's just I feel like it's not. I feel like it's not a very well written character because he's got all this angst background, but is has just this super positive personality that just does not mesh with it, and so it's a little weird. And
Yeah.
I'm not sure which version of the character.
He's not quite succeeding at doing the thing that they did in RPM, where they made the dissonance actually creepy.
Yeah, creepy or funny.
Or funny.
Or
they're not playing with the dissonance. They're not even acknowledging the dissonance.
Yeah. They're just having him be like, you know, kind of happy-go-lucky positive guy, and that just not so much be in spite of his circumstances, but just like unrelated to his circumstances.
About that finale next week.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm curious to see how the finale goes. Yeah. So apparently you're going to be out of town.
Yeah.
So we got to do something about that. I guess we're going to have to delay it by a day like we did last time.
Yeah, we may have to do our review on Sunday when I get back.
Yeah.
I'm kind of going to be in the woods all weekend.
So I'm
thing where I run around hitting people with foam swords.
So that was unfortunate once we realized the timing on that.
It only happens once every couple of months, and it so happens
this is
to coincide with this.
This one is in particular is an annual event. So
no, it's not.
No? I thought it was a specific, like, Halloween themed. No? I thought no, okay. Well, it had, like, a specific name, so I thought that was a specific name.
That's the name of the LARP.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh.
I switched LARPs, like,
9
months ago.
Okay, I'm sorry. I thought I thought that was the name of a specific event within the LARP. So
No.
Like,
this isn't the one with the zombies. This is the one where I play a robot.
Okay. Alright. Fair enough.
That's the name of the one where I play a robot.
Okay. Well, even so...
That one, though, only happens every 2 or 3 months.
Okay.
As opposed to happening every month like the other one did. But since I can only actually get off from work every 2 or 3 months, I rather prefer it, because it means I don't miss any events. Come back and go, what's going on?
Alright.
Anyways.
So, that's what's going on right now. We'll keep you guys in the loop regarding next week. It'll probably be a Sunday night live reaction.
No, not a Renaissance fair, Daniel.
And,
a LARP.
Yeah.
You know, running around. Lightning bolt.
Exactly. Alright, so...
I cast lightning bolts because I'm a robot.
So now that we have the links out and available, we've got people in the chat, I think it's a pretty good time to get started. What do you guys think? Good time to get started? Yeah? Huh? There we go.
If I could create any dino charger, I would want the one that goes with the Ammonite dino charger that they never used.
Fair enough. Alright. So, let's check out episode 19, although it's the 20th episode, episode 19 of Power Rangers Super Ninja Steel Doom Signal.
Wait, is it?
Doom Signal.
Is Ammonite the Pokemon or is Ammonite the... it's the same.
You're thinking Ammonite.
I'm thinking Ammonite, yes. The Ammonite fossil.
So many battles.
Makes an Ammonite Pokemon.
He was defeated.
Ammonite Dino.
And rose to power, determined to take the stars for herself. Only one team of heroes can stop her. It's morphin' time.
They are Power Rangers Super Ninja Steel.
Previously on Power Rangers.
Previously.
What on earth?
You got his little
Now,
mic control, right?
plan begins. My parents are sick, so I'm gonna go visit them. Wait, you're going to the Lion Galaxy? The Rangers have no idea they've been fooled.
Evil Mick.
Mind control device
Evil.
worked perfectly on Mick. Your next Earth.
So apparently her new mind control device is the big plan of the day.
The satellite dishes are now charging. Well, is he finished yet?
Oh,
Almost
interesting
done.
setting.
In just a few hours, we can broadcast your mind control signal through these special satellite dishes.
You got a big satellite dish.
I can't wait for everyone to be under my control.
Yes, every human on Earth will be your faithful servant.
Okay, apparently she wants to control the Earth.
Give me another chance with the Rangers, please.
Oh, Braxy, you're so brave.
You
Brax
won't
is
have
going
to
to
fight
go.
the Rangers. They'll
No.
be too busy watching TV instead.
Really?
Madam.
What? Wait,
Yes, my
what?
servant. Why would humans be interested in watching a monster TV show? Oh, it won't be monsters on TV. It'll be humans. Right after we kidnap some.
Oh, wait, are they gonna put Victor and Monty on Galaxy Warriors? Is that what's about to happen? I feel like
Probably.
that's what's about to happen. Go! Go! Power Rangers, Ninja Steel, and evil with all our might together, Ninja Steel. Never give up without a fight together, Ninja Steel. Power Rangers, fear no danger. Go, go, Power Rangers. Go, go, Power Rangers. Go. Setting out for what is right together, Ninja Spin. Launch all day and night together, Ninja Steel. Power Rangers, fear no danger. Go, go, Power Rangers. Go, go, Power Rangers. Go, Ninja Steel. Go, go, Power Rangers, Ninja Steel. Go, go, Power Rangers. Go, go, Power Rangers. Go, Ninja Steel. All right.
Bye, Caleb.
Hey! It's the guy who sacrificed himself.
Look who's back.
It's that guy who sacrificed himself.
Apparently, he's been driving his kids to school every
Some
day.
TV shows holding auditions at our school.
What?
Apparently, whoever gets picked will be super rich and famous.
What?
Yeah, our friend Haley's trying out. We gotta go. Have a great day. See you tonight, Dad. Looks like it's already started.
So the reason they haven't mentioned that he's missing is because he's been driving them to school every day and we just haven't noticed.
Okay.
Yeah.
So weird.
Dane Romero is in this episode. We just saw him.
Did we miss it?
That was unexpected.
You're just in time.
Why is Victor a
Is the
doctor?
one who's late, as usual. I was supposed to help you rehearse.
Calvin's
an hour
late.
ago.
Hey,
I'm sorry. My car was having engine trouble, so I had to fix it before
what
I
is
leave.
up with your car,
You
dude?
could have got a taxi.
Yes, Mask Rider Blue.
I needed your help. Did you at least bring my props?
You props? I left them right by the front door,
And they're still there.
then I forgot. I'm sorry, Hills. I'm sure you're gonna be great without them. It's
Props.
one little audition anyway. Actually,
who brings-
it's a pretty big deal.
Who
They say
brings
the show's gonna
props
go worldwide.
to an audition?
He's right.
That's not how auditions work.
I believe this looks kind of like an America's Got Talent style edition, in which case you would.
I suppose.
Because it's your act.
What is she
I don't know
performing?
what her act is.
This is a scene from Romeo and Juliet. Romeo, Romeo, I drink this potion to be with you.
That's not how that works.
Thank you. Now move along. We're on a tight schedule.
Okay.
Thank you.
Really? I drink this potion?
To be with you.
It's poison.
Next, number 147.
Why do you keep quoting Romeo and Juliet without actually quoting Romeo and Juliet?
A highly dramatic scene portraying life and death.
I can't wait. Get on with it then.
This is absurd.
Tell me, patient, can you feel this? Sorry, Victor, it was reflex. Let me make you more comfortable.
Is he gonna find them funny? Is that the idea? That is not how legs work. What?
That is not how physics works.
Why did he fly in the air?
I don't know what Monty did wrong.
I don't.
You two are real clowns.
We're looking.
Like it.
That's perfect for my show. We're done here. The rest of you can go home.
What?
No one will beat these two showbiz geniuses.
Really?
I can't believe it.
Boys, you're about to become superstars.
Well, you did a dramatic scene, and apparently he was looking for comedy. Are you going to blame Calvin for this stuff?
I was much better than them, right, Cal?
It
Well,
really depends on what they're looking for.
I mean, they were pretty funny.
Yeah, but my audition went really well.
yeah,
Don't you think?
yeah. it did.
But you were drama and he wanted comedy.
Be honest, you can tell me.
Oh no.
Well,
What?
I don't think Romeo and Juliet was a good choice for a TV show audition.
Okay.
And I think some props could have helped.
But
You forgot the props!
Forgot that.
Don't be mad. You asked me what I thought.
You should have stuck with the first part.
Don't mention the
Juliet.
props.
Honest, and
Not a-
there's
Hey, I'm starving.
How do we don't watch the ninja.
Amazing.
This is weird. I don't know what message we're trying to take from this right now.
We get paid. We are the
stars after all. In just a minute, you'll know everything. Trust me.
Hey, we don't not watch New Ninja and be.
Is he about to transform into a monster?
Angel Grove and
How to?
Wait, what?
Here, I got you your face.
What did you say about Angel Grove?
That's Victor and Monty without TV producer. Are we filming in Summer Cove or out of town?
Pirate anything.
Out of town?
In the
Is it?
chat.
This is a monster. And Basher Box. Well, that was easy.
They've got Victor and Monty.
His flaws aren't everything that saved her. Because again, if he was looking for,
I heard them say something about Angel Grove. I don't know what, and I don't know why. But they just said Angel Grove for some reason.
Angel Grove name drop. Yeah, Gokai, what was up with that?
Yeah, could you guys... I missed the exact line. Is it that it was supposed to film in Angel Grove? Was supposed to air in Angel Grove? Did he get his smoothie from Angel Grove? Actually,
She's not being ungrateful because she's got nothing to be grateful for. He did mess it up. But she is being a little bit overhung up on the idea that she somehow was inherently better than their act, because although their act didn't go the way they planned it to, it was heavily comedic, which does appear to be what he was after. And if you do any kind of acting, you know that sometimes it's not about whether or not you're as good as the other person, it's about whether or not you are what they're looking for.
Yeah. It's really interesting how this show, whenever it addresses things having to do with, like, you know, performances and production, does not seem to know how performances and production work.
Despite the fact that they are performers and producers.
Yeah, I don't know how that happens. I don't know. I don't know how that works.
If you go out for a play of some kind, you know, you could get the role because you know, it came down to you and 3 other people and they wanted a redhead. Or they wanted the one who's taller.
Yeah.
Or, you know...
So you said Preston's going to his cousin Zach's birthday party in Angel Grove? Really? That's what he said? I want to hear that again when we're done with all this. I definitely want to hear that reference again to make sense of it.
Build, code, and play with Lego Boost.
Each set sold separately.
Love it.
Batteries not included.
That looks like fun.
Download required for play. Ask a parent before.
Lego connected to... Oh yeah, no, I've worked with things like that with,
I was gonna say, it's
with
like...
some kids at tutoring center.
It's like Lego robotics that's more complex, only simpler for home.
Yeah. That's fun. It seems to have the same
Same
basic interface.
Yeah.
The tablet interface.
Oh, yours has a tablet interface?
Well, this was actually, that one was a laptop interface, but even so.
Yeah, because when I was last exposed to that sort of thing, we had to actually compile programs on a laptop and download them into the controller. And
yeah, the current has a it has a different software where it's you know, you kind of click and drag different.
If Preston has a cousin, how come we never see him? Well, clearly because he lives in another town.
Have you seen any of our cousins? Like, that's not that strange a thing.
I just saw 2 of my cousins for the first time in over 20 years.
I think a bigger question is, if Brody and Levi have a dad, why don't we ever see him?
Especially since he lives in town.
And he's a ninja. That's the bigger question. Why aren't we seeing the ninja father?
Why aren't we seeing the ninja? That's a silly question.
The ninja. The ninja.
Why are we not seeing the ninja?
The ninja.
Because he's a ninja.
You're on your way to doom and destruction. Morphin' time. Power stars. Lock in.
You're doing this a little bit more
Well, in all
slowly.
fairness, they're not even remotely similar to Ninja Storm.
Yeah.
So I don't see how they could do a tie-in. It's not... I mean, Dino Thunder didn't look into Dino Charge either. Dino Charge looked back to Mighty Morphin's dinosaurs, but...
Well, yeah, you're saying Dino Charge didn't look back to Dino Thunder. Dino Thunder was before Dino Charge, so it wouldn't make sense. Like, I could see them, you know, making mention of Ninja Storm, but I don't see it being necessary.
Well, someone said they can't even be bothered to do it. It's like, it's
It's not necessary.
Yeah, it's not necessary.
Yeah, like Dino Charge didn't mention other past Dino seasons. Then again, Dino Charge was apparently in another universe, which we didn't know until the end.
This could be in another universe too.
No, it can't be. This is established as the main universe.
Or was it?
Yeah. I mean, it could be, but it shouldn't be considering what's been established in Dimensions in Danger. This has been established as being in the main universe.
I mean, they could have had Dane come from that school, but again, not necessary. Because it's so completely different. These ninja powers are completely... If I was going to have a callback from anything, it would have been more like Power Rangers Samurai calling back to Power Rangers Ninja Steel, Ninja Storm, because those ones had, you know, tradition and stuff in them. There were people who were, you know, actually... These guys don't train as ninjas when they're not...
That's more disconnected.
Yes, exactly right. It's barely a ninja season.
Well, I mean, it is and it isn't.
But they're not...
Brody is a ninja. His father was a trained ninja. It would not be that far out of left field for his father to have trained at a ninja school. I'll admit, it's a reasonable reference, but it's not one that, like, needs to exist.
Particularly since none of their ranger powers in this case come from any kind of ninja training school.
Well, yeah.
They came...
Their powers are unrelated, but the background could be if they wanted to. Specifically the link through Brody and Brody, Levi, and their father.
Ninja Super Steel model, ready! Ninja Blaze Megazord, combined!
Alright, here comes the Blaze Megazord.
Where are we at? The Ninja Blade Megazord just got made.
Yep. We're getting the Megazord fight.
With blue, yellow, and white in the cockpit.
Yep, so we got Blaze and we got Ninja Steel.
Everybody else is the other one. Hey!
Hey, hey.
We'll handle Gorox. Great idea. We'll take down Brass.
So this new monster's named Gorox. So.
Let's do this.
That's cool, Devious. No, Anthony, it's not over yet. We're at the Zord battle.
Yeah. So it very much still it feels like we're definitely stretching out this mind control storyline. It looks like it's
Hey, Dyrano!
going to play. Welcome back. All right.
Yeah, we had the same technical difficulties that we had at the beginning of last week, so everything's a little delayed, which means you guys are actually more on time than you normally would be.
We'll give them all we've got. Going up.
It's interesting that we've jumped pretty much straight into Zord battle at this
Yeah, there was
point.
basically no ground battle.
Yeah. It was very brief. Because
I am focusing on the screen.
yeah. Well, she's also focusing on you guys.
Do you realize ZZ, you're down here.
Yeah. She's focusing. She's looking at her laptop to look at the chat.
This is you, ZJZ.
Alright, here we go. Woo! Shining. I do like the shining. Oh, Gorax, we hardly knew ye. Now that's how you paraphrase Shakespeare.
That was a hard hit. I don't think these Megazords can take another blast like that.
Alright, so you should destroy him then.
There's nothing you can do.
Yeah, you can destroy him. I think destroying him would be a good
Apparently
call.
John Cena's throwing orange paint at us now.
Except somehow it turned into blue paint all of a sudden when it came back at him.
But everybody's wearing white.
So apparently there's a new game show or something where people just throw paint at each other?
I think we had this game show already. It was called Wild Wild and Crazy Dudes.
Well, I mean there were other aspects to it other than just throwing paint at people. Like Double Dare was also throwing junk all over
No,
people.
Double Dare was slime. Wild and Crazy Kids actually involved things like throwing yourself in a pot of paint and using your body to paint a room.
No, fair enough.
What about Power Rangers Ninja Storm? It has ninjas. Yeah, that was way more ninja-y.
Yeah, that's what we were talking about.
keep it spotless is the best. They don't look very spotless to me, though. I mean, they're very, very colored in paint. They really are failing at the whole show don't tell thing.
Oh yeah, no, that's been
They're failing on so many levels.
that's been a thing throughout the Saban brand seasons. They over exposit what is on screen without actually often explaining.
So you're totally
other
right,
things
Dan.
that are going on.
He's on the field.
That's totally agreed upon for most since
I don't understand why they put jackalopes and platypuses in the same, like, because jackalopes don't exist and platypuses do.
It's because they're considered hybrid animals.
But a platypus isn't a hybrid animal.
I know, but it looks like a cross between a duck and a beaver. Like, I know it's not actually a hybrid animal,
Ninja
but
Storm
it
is
is one.
1,000 times better than Ninja Steel. Agreed.
Have you ever watched? How much of Ninja Storm have you seen?
About half of it.
Okay.
But not one half or the other half.
Just like random episodes. Yeah, I definitely say.
I like Cam a lot.
I'd say that.
And Sensei Guinea Pig.
I'd say Love Stings has been the one Ninja Steel episode to actually feel like a Ninja Storm episode.
Okay, so Joseph, the goal is to come out cleaner than the other team.
Okay.
She giggles when I tickle her.
That makes some sense.
Yeah.
Real as can be. Real as can be, baby. Each soul checks.
It's kind of like paintball, only with paint weapons other than a paintball gun. Like paint-covered sponges in a covered machine.
Well, yeah. So far with the very brief bits of the conflict between Calvin and Haley is kind of odd because so far it's felt confused and rushed.
My goodness.
Put your voice into your favorite songs.
They make Kids Bop karaoke.
Huh. That makes sense. I feel like that's a thing that's existed before.
Not a machine for it. I mean, there's been
apps and things.
Yeah.
And we're back. Sure there is. They can destroy me.
CDs that you could play and then sing along with, but
Attack it.
Did you never have any karaoke cassette tapes as a kid?
Yeah, probably.
I think a different Megazord combination may give us the edge we need to beat
What?
Brax.
Yeah. Just
Ninja Ultra Star, lock in.
okay.
Ninja Blaze Ultra Sword, combine.
All right. Sure. You've done this before. I don't know. Wait. Why did you guys have to switch to make that work? I don't know. That was weird. I'm amused how the like Firebird or whatever it is just lands on top.
I'm his guts.
Wait, they need to pass that around? That's why he had to take. Okay, I love how convoluted that was. Wait, why did you guys just teleport into a cockpit you were already in? Or wait, maybe it was a separate. I don't know how these cockpits work.
I never saw Wild Force, so I'm gonna have to go with Viera.
Princess Shale is pretty cool. I'm amused how the Ninja Blaze. It was a little bit of wacky camera angle. I like how the Ninja Blaze Ultra Sword moves a lot more.
Suits that they're wearing in the cockpit made out of like PVC.
Probably. Yes, Brax, you have failed. Alright, so that's the end of that. Now they gotta save Victor and Monty.
I'm glad we beat those two. But we've got bigger fish to fry now.
Yeah. The monsters were the ones running that TV show. And you've got Victor and Monty.
Come on, let's get to the base.
I don't know why.
Oh, House?
What? Why are you slowing down?
It's lucky I didn't help you rehearse.
No, don't try and play it. Calvin, stop being stupid.
So really, there's
Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it now.
Excuse me?
Calvin,
You were late. And you didn't help me rehearse. And you made me feel bad about my
Calvin,
performance.
you're being awful. Are you trying?
No, I was gonna have car trouble.
Are you guys trying to break
asked me
these
for my honest
people up
opinion
right
on
now?
my performance.
Yeah, thinking you would be supportive.
Please stop.
Guys,
Now is not the time.
Maybe we should just all.
Calvin.
If you ask me for my
Calvin,
honest
stop it.
opinion, that's what you're
Stop
gonna
it.
get. And if
Stop
you
it,
don't know that
Calvin.
about me, then I guess you don't know me.
This is not the time.
You can't
Not
say
the
you're
time.
hurting my feelings and you don't know me at
Wow.
all.
Wow, are we really forcing a breakup right
So
now?
what then?
Is that what's going on right now?
Maybe we each need some space.
Yeah, we're forcing a breakup right now. That's what's happening. This is
Fine then.
I mean, the actors are trying, but like.
I mean, Haley's selling it.
The characters are not.
Haley's selling it.
Well, fair enough.
The actress, I'm saying.
Like
You
I
said
said,
they're doing the best they can. I'm saying she's selling it.
it's just a contrived situation.
It is a contrived situation.
He's gone. I'll never get over him.
I mean, Calvin does have one itsy-bitsy point, and one is she did ask for honest opinion. And two, his honest opinion should not have included you need props when he forgot the props.
Yeah, he used Calvin was being
Go out, my dearest, and be the best clowns of all time.
If you think I will lower myself to be a performing clown, you're wrong.
Why are you dressed as a clown if you're not going to do this?
Do it, boys, or I'll unleash these pressure bombs on you.
Yeah.
Okay, clowns are funny. We'll make it work, classic.
Go for it.
You two hit each other while we want to laugh.
Break a leg, my dears.
Break both if you can.
Oh, Cosmo. You're the best.
Like they haven't been on this ship before.
Yeah. It's a repeat. It's a. Hey. Okay. Okay, do it. Come on, guys. You can put more into it.
So I'll spice things up.
What's about to happen? What?
Monty, watch out.
What? What?
We're ready. This
They just
clown
have these
should
things?
mesmerize those ridiculous humans.
Good. In a moment, anyone who watches our show will be completely under my control. Mick, it's time.
So apparently, no, she totally did want her to have it back. She just asked him in the wrongest of ways.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he shouldn't have gone with that, Daniel. No, don't go. It's a good thing I made a mistake. Never do that.
What? Why did you just show trigonometry?
Victor and Monty.
What?
On earth are they doing? What? You're two?
Why do you need Victor and Monty for this to work if you're just hijacking every television? Nothing about this makes any sense. But apparently now all your brains are being fried.
Look at those fools.
What? 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 Also, the glowy eyes are hilarious.
Everybody's got evil, glowy eyes. I suppose you need Victor and Monty to make all the people outside stop and watch screens instead of just going about their business.
I guess.
This odd signal. I can't get rid of it. How bizarre.
Oh my.
Suffering circuits. That's the Warrior Dome stage. It's on every channel. I better find out what's going on.
This is all very strange. Also, where?
Are you okay?
What are you guys doing?
Yeah.
What? Why are you in the park?
Hey, we'll catch up with you guys.
Where'd Calvin go? Did you just... I think that y'all just forgot that two of their classmates have been kidnapped by aliens.
All this time with Kelvin, and it's over.
What? Why is this happening right now?
Can you believe he said all that stuff about my performance?
No.
Hales, it's kind of what I wanted to talk to you about.
Wait,
You
what?
are a good performer. There's a but coming, isn't there?
Yes.
But
You shouldn't have done Romeo and Juliet.
you were a little over the top in your audition.
Wait, what?
Did Kelvin tell you to
Stop!
No, actually, a few of us were.
This is not relevant.
So Kelvin was right.
Nothing about this is
I
relevant.
just didn't want to hear it.
This is not relevant.
Still, he didn't even show up to help me rehearse.
There are kidnapped humans.
Hales, he's a lot better than he used to be, don't you think?
Wait, that's not an
Maybe I
excuse.
was wrong to be so hard on him.
I don't care. This is not relevant.
Such a fool. Thank you, Sarah.
Wait, what?
I hope I haven't ruined things between us.
This one?
I've got to fix this.
This is so forced. This is flying so fast. Oh, what, is Calvin about to get hypnotized now? Is that about to happen? Are you going to hang up on, are you going to ignore her call? You're ignoring her call. Calvin. What? Calvin. And now Calvin's mind controlled.
Hey, why are the doors shut?
Why are the doors shut? Why is anything happening?
It's locked.
What's going on?
School's closed. Go home. Everyone must watch TV. Excuse me?
What in the world is wrong with it?
Go home. School's closed. Everyone must watch TV.
There's Basher Bots in there. What? You're right. We need to take
What
them by
are-
surprise.
What are the Basher Bots
We gotta
doing
find their way
there?
in there. Come on.
Why? What is happening?
Redbot, what's going on? We saw Basher Bots in the school.
Brody, listen. OES is beaming a TV show to Earth. It's playing on every channel with
The principal is such a
Victor the
troll.
stars. Go
You're
watch
correct.
it.
What?
Absolutely.
Why not?
I've hacked into the source code of the signal. Any human who watches the show will fall under Otis's mind control.
No way.
The writers didn't think anything through, as far as I can tell.
Not really.
Hey, thanks, Redbot.
Well, if we could stop the signal, then
Like, they remember things that they've done and reference them, but
But as far
Wait,
as the meta
what?
plot
Where's
goes,
Mick?
Mick,
What's he doing?
it's evil, Nick.
what? Why? Why is this happening?
Why is he bowing?
Did he just bow to her?
Yes, he did.
Must be
He could have done that up on the ship.
just like everyone else.
Why are they down here
Never
now?
left the Lion Galaxy. He was with Otis this whole time.
Welcome, madam.
The mind control seems to be working perfectly.
I don't understand
Everyone,
what they're doing.
Line up. Quick, march. We have a lot to do today.
What are they going to do with all this?
Teleport these humans to the ship.
Why?
Once the Rangers are destroyed, these people will become the soldiers that help me to rule the universe.
What?
Yes, madam.
Okay,
Otis
so
wants to turn the entire human race into her personal army.
Humans may be weak soldiers, but there are billions of them.
okay,
The first phase
I mean,
of
she's
my
not
plan
wrong.
is complete.
True.
Time for phase 2.
Stop telling us things we just saw. Yes, Daniel, absolutely.
wait. This is our to be continued. Okay. I don't. Okay, so that's the end of that.
You guys can still see us, right? Because there's some sort of can't download updates error in the middle
Oh
of our
yeah,
screen.
that happens all the time. I hate that error. It keeps trying to make me do my laptop keeps trying to make me do updates that it then says that I can't actually do. So I'm gonna have to do something about it eventually. It's just really annoying. Wait, what was it?
Just so you know.
Oh, okay.
Woo! They can see us.
This.
And someone thinks you belong on staff.
Oh, thank you very much, Dan. I appreciate that. It is a long-term goal that is yet to be accomplished, but that is something I would love to see.
That was a Mega Contrived breakup.
So-
I mean, I could see that being a spat,
It was.
but it was insufficient for a actual breakup, unless they had had many of these arguments previously
Yeah.
that we never saw.
I mean, we've seen this sort of
Yes,
argument before.
Gyrano, it just
But
ended.
okay, so we're done with the episode. Okay, I'm gonna need to see next week to really judge, like, how much this plan makes sense. Because as of this moment, I do not fully understand the bounds of the plan. Like, I do not know why Mick is down on Earth right now.
I don't know why Mick had to kneel for the lady in front of the school. It's not as if he hadn't already pledged his fealty repeatedly up on the ship.
I don't know why
That was clearly
just happened.
like stuck there for, again, additional unnecessary exposition.
It was, like, I don't know why the Rangers needed to find out, like, right at the end of this episode that Mick is mind controlled. I don't know why they had to
I'm
find
sorry.
out that way.
I mean, I actually really like some of, for example, Becca's independent work.
Yeah.
She's done some really nice little shorts.
Yeah.
But I still want to fly to New Zealand, take a 2x4 and smack the entire writing team around the head while shouting, "Show, don't tell! Show, don't tell!"
I don't... I don't want to hit them with the 2x4. I think that's much. I think that's quite a bit much. But I would
You know
like
me,
to
I'm
have
a big fan of hyperbole.
I would like to have a very honest conversation with them to understand what their approach is on a number of things with this show. Because I'm assuming that there must be some mandate that there needs to be a lot of tell in this show. I can't imagine that's just...
I haven't seen this much tell in Power Rangers in years. They literally will do something and then exposit it a minute and a half later. We have had flashbacks.
But...
We have had flashbacks to things that happened 5 minutes previous.
Yes, we have. Yes.
5 minutes previous.
Probably,
you don't need a flashback. It just happened.
Yeah. I mean, we've been getting that sort of thing though since Samurai.
See, I don't necessarily know that, Bright, because frankly, we watch a lot of TV, and we still don't need that much exposition.
Did
Samurai have this problem? I guess
Yeah,
I was
I think
spoiled by Dino Charge.
Yeah, Dino Charge was better than pretty much anything that came before and after during the Spawn Brands era.
No, we definitely did not have that many flashbacks and expositions in the Mighty Morphin.
I very much
We
feel
did have
like
the moral of the day. It was very, boom, this is the moral.
they were generally well-executed morals, though. I feel like a lot of elements of the Saban Brands era have probably been Haim Saban mandates. Just considering that that there are elements that have been consistent throughout all 8 seasons, and really the number one person who's been in charge of all 8 seasons has been Haim Saban.
I really think you've hit the nail on the head right there. I haven't seen very much of Dale's stuff, but definitely based on Becca Barnes' stuff and, you know, the things we've seen from other people, I would say that they are probably not the ones responsible for a lot of this. They're working on the show, but they are junior members, so they have to work within the bounds they're given.
Yeah, they're following the mandates given to them. They're working directly with the showrunner. And so I'm assuming that, you know,
I'm not going to say that they might not be contributing to the problem, but I'm going to say that I don't think they're the direct cause of the problem.
Oh, no.
Okay, it's either a team effort or they're under somebody else's thumb. One or the other. They are not, the newbies are not solely responsible for this. That's all I can say for sure.
My current feelings regarding the hierarchies, etc. of the show and, you know, who deserves responsibility, from what I can tell, just going off of the patterns of what I've seen, is they probably receive mandates from Haim Saban. Chip is the lead writer, so he's the one trying to execute that. And as Anthony has just pointed out,
Chip feels they lost their way during In Space.
He's gone back and forth on what he feels. It's a little inconsistent.
But In Space was, like, the best.
Yeah, I know. And I get the impression that
but, I mean,
that is a bit of a company
that the
line.
people who, I mean, everybody who's involved in this is to some degree a part of what's going on. So I guess what I'm saying is that I'm not going to say that the newer people aren't doing anything.
So let me finish my
Sorry,
thing first.
I thought you were done.
No, because I'm going through the chain here.
Okay.
In terms of people who are really directly contributing to the show and making it what it is, we have Haim Saban is the head honcho of everything.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he has final say. Working directly for him were Brian Casentini, along with his team of like Melissa Flores and a few others, who would really work on like content development alongside Chip Lynn, who is the showrunner for the show. So it's like, okay, together they come up with ideas. They work out, you know, a basic framework for what they want the show to be. They moderate the tone according to what, you know, Haim Saban wants the franchise to be.
Right, and the rest of the people who are on the same level as Chip, they're doing other things, like marketing and merchandising
and Chip is leading the writing of it.
He's leading the writing of the show.
And he's then, you know, transferring all those mandates onto Becca and Alwyn, who need to align to Chip. Now, I feel like Chip's done plenty of good work, but I feel like thus far his ability to translate, what the show, what Heinz Baum wants the show to be, into something that is a polished and well-executed product, I feel like he's not successfully accomplishing that.
I think Jackie and Chip worked very well together.
Yes.
In fact, if you look at the various and sundry work of Chip, his best work was with Jackie.
And beyond that, I think
the two of them.
And beyond that, I think that Becca and Alwyn, they are trying to, appease their boss, and they do not have, I think, the level of skill and experience to, to push for that added level of polish that could, again, make these mandates work. I think
I agree.
That's the point that I'm making, that there are these levels of hierarchy, and anywhere along the way there could be someone who has the level of skill and sway to make it work, but I feel like we're not seeing the successful combo of skill and sway to make it work.
We're not seeing convective combo. And what I was saying is that, because a lot of the times it comes across kind of like we're going, oh, it's all Chip's fault and it's none of theirs. We don't know that.
Right.
We don't know that. All we can say is that because they are so far at the bottom of the pitch, they can't be the only ones messing up.
I mean, think about it this way.
They can't mess up anything that the people above them don't let them.
If you have a school, you can have a school with let's say, for instance, a principal who's not a very good administrator. That makes things difficult for the teachers. Even if it's a good teacher, it's still going to make it more difficult for them. A really good teacher can overcome that, but it's still going to be more difficult. And then, as far as the students, you can have really successful students, but they're still overcoming other things. So I don't think that anyone is good enough to overcome the challenges of those presented by those above them. And I think that's kind of what we're seeing. Yeah. And I'm not trying to really pound everyone down. I feel like there's, everyone has the potential to do good work. It's just not coming together within the structure that we've had for this era of Power Rangers. I'm hoping that basically with Hasbro, perhaps we'll have basically a better principal, a better leader that will allow, that will basically bring forth the best talents of the people working below. Yeah. Make the teacher into a better teacher. Make the students into better students instead of them trying to be good despite that.
What I'm saying, and what seems to keep getting rolled over by your explanation, is that we're actually kind of blind as to what the bottom is actually capable of.
Absolutely.
Because of the things above them. We can't categorically say they would be doing better with better management. We don't know that. Yeah. We also don't know if they are actually going, if they had their hands untied, they might be fantastic. If they had their hands untied, they might not be. We don't know.
Right.
Because of the things above them. They are a mystery. So when we say things like, we don't think they're responsible for this, we're not saying we think they're fantastic. We're saying we don't know, but the people above them have more power.
And I will say, at the very least, they're not presenting a level of talent that would supersede who they're working with.
But that would take an extraordinary level of talent from as far down as they are.
Exactly.
And they haven't had enough time in the industry to really develop that.
Yeah, and I think
so. They would have to be a freaking savant to make that happen from the position they're at right now.
Yeah. So that's sort of our deep dive into what we perceive to be the power structures of writing in Power Rangers.
And, we all heard at Morphicon about how, Haim was very much into the goofy elements and the things like that. And so we can have a great deal of hope that with it moving under Hasbro, that whoever's above Chip in Hasbro will bring out a better quality from Chip and his team.
I get the impression that Haim Saban was more involved in very early seasons and then the Saban Brands seasons. But I feel like the Power Rangers in Space onwards, he was probably a bit more hands-off. Because he had been with the show for so long, and he was kind of moving, trying to
And we
look
saw
at
the
other
same thing in
venues.
Dino Charge when they were busy with the movie.
Yeah, yeah. They were busy with, he was more hands-off with the movie. Chip was, you know, trying to do something new, and so they gave him a little bit more flexibility, I get the impression on that.
And we got one of the best seasons we got out of the Neo Saban era.
Yeah. We also had, I know we had Mark Litton working along there as well, so we had that little added bit of experience for the writers, which I think smoothed things out a little bit.
So,
because Mark Litton, few people realize, he actually worked closely alongside Judd and Jackie for a number of seasons.
Oh, yeah.
He's someone who's kind of gets forgotten, but he was working with them up through Lightspeed Rescue under a number of names. For a while, it was I believe just the three of them.
He was doing the whole fake name thing there for a while.
Yeah, I think he was going under the name John Fletcher at the time.
Yes, John Fletcher. John Fletcher is Mark Litton.
Yeah.
So if you look back over that, that also changes some things. If you realize those are the same guy.
And he apparently contributed a fair bit to Dino Charge. And I think, you know, and then you see like names like Ann Austin pop up or James W. Bates, people who had past experience involved with Dino Charge outside of just Chip and the newer writers.
Yeah.
And I think that added that contributed to that smooth sailing.
Yeah, bringing back, I mean, there's always something to be said for bringing back people who have experience, even if it's just for an episode or two.
Yeah.
Just getting their flavor in there, getting their, picking their brains.
And keep in mind, we only may have seen their names on an episode or two. That does not mean they were not also forces in the writer's room contributing to other episodes.
Exactly, because, I mean, for example, someone pointed out there was an episode that Chuck didn't have any credits on, but Chip didn't have any credits on, but you know, he probably
he's the
had
showrunner,
some involvement in it anyway. It's just like in Babylon 5.
Well, yeah, even episodes that J. Michael Straczynski didn't write, you know that he was heavily involved
episodes that he had no credits with at all, but he still did the final pass on every script.
Generally speaking, for any show with a writer's room, which is to an extent a bit of a newer development for a lot of shows.
Yeah.
Dramas did not used to really have much by way of writer's rooms. Now writer's rooms are very popular.
Star Trek's had one for a long time.
Is that in writer's rooms, everybody on the writing staff works together to develop a script. One writer is the one who really polishes it, and that writer gets the most credit for it, but as far as developing the ideas and really making it mesh with the rest of the season, it's a group effort of all the writers on staff.
And you'll sometimes see, like if you see some behind-the-scenes stuff of various shows that have writers' rooms, you'll see things like whiteboards and sticky notes and stuff where people have pieces that they've suggested that may not even go to a given episode, like a gag or a thing.
Yeah.
And that someone would be like, hey, I'm going to take this one and use it in my episode.
Right.
You know? So it can wind up being a patchwork.
There's a lot more to writing for television than most people realize. And you really only get a feel for that when you do like the research on it and you've listened. I've listened to a lot of writers talk in podcasts. I've talked to Seamus a lot, who's
Children of
also
is great.
Who's also he's interviewed a lot of writers. He's gone to a number of workshops. Until you start to really dig into it, a lot of people don't realize how much goes into writing a TV show.
So complicated.
And you're always
why I stick to prose.
Like
One person can write a prose story.
And even as an individual working on a spec script, there's still a certain development of structure that you adhere to, and that may vary from show to show. And there's a lot of research and a lot of thought that goes into making a script.
And when you're writing a spec script for a show, for example, you have to watch a bunch of episodes of it, not just to get the flavor of the characters, but to suss out what the structure is that show uses. Is it a 2-act? Is it a 3-act? Is it 4 and tag?
And when you think about Power Rangers, which is a very unusual show.
Yes.
Power Rangers has had episodes that were written in a day. Like, let's be very honest. There are episodes of Power Rangers that, like, a guy wrote in a day.
I'm gonna guess that's early Power Rangers.
Mostly early Power Rangers. But I think one of the problems is that because Power Rangers had that pattern in the early days, and I think it grew away from it during the Disney days, when Saban Brands came back to it, they were still expecting writers to work under those same timetables, even though that's not really how things work anymore. And I think that was very disruptive to try and make it work.
I'm sorry, Anthony.
Oh, and Anthony just said, "Cool, I'm not understanding what you're saying. I'm sorry if we're getting too deep into this."
Sorry, we're getting too deep. But well, you could say, for example, like, what's the structure of Power Rangers?
Well, Power Rangers episode, you open with a cold open. You have acts 1, 2, and 3.
So you have cold open, then you have credits.
Yeah.
Then you have
Act 1, Act 2, Act 3.
But where do the commercials go?
Commercials go in between acts.
Do you have one between the credits and Act 1, or?
Generally not when it's airing, although they do place the commercials in different places when you see it online.
Okay, so you have cold open, credits, Act 1, commercial, Act 2, commercial, Act 3.
And Act...
Oh, no, he understands what we're saying. He doesn't understand what Devious Ray
no, what Caleb was saying.
Caleb.
Oh, okay. Okay, yeah, I don't know what Caleb was talking about either.
Anthony saw a Power Rangers copy of Zeo.
Okay, so you're talking about something with time travel. I lost the thread of whatever was going on there, because I was going so deep dive on this.
You were. Okay,
Okay.
Ninja Steel with Jack and Jill. How is this real? Do you think Sledge will be in the Christmas special?
Oh.
Bright says he actually will be in the Christmas
special.
special.
I've heard that.
There was they talked about Amit.
Oh, Amit Baumick?
Yes.
What about him?
That he was a cool writer, and then somebody said he's just a crossover writer.
No, that's not fair. Amit Baumick, yeah, he was and then somebody corrected that, I think, to say that he was the story editor.
He was the story editor for Wild Force.
He was the story editor for all of Wild Force. He did do a lot of work on Wild Force.
Daniel Romano was agreeing that Mark Litton did some of the best stuff, like Master Vile and Metallic Armor, good times.
Yeah. Yeah, it was nice of me to finally meet Amit Baumick at Power Morphicon this year. He was a nice guy.
Caleb is trying to imply that Wild Force, kind of like with ZO, a Power Rangers copy of that Wild Force is a Power Rangers copy of ZO.
I think they're talking about how a crossover would work if there was time travel, and then Kamen Rider Geo is very time travel heavy.
Yes,
it's a time travel heavy.
Was in fact a fan fiction writer. Amit was like fanboy ascended.
Yeah,
and he's kind of.
It was funny that I mentioned at Power Morphicon during the panel to Amit Baumick that I remembered his website from back when he was just a fan on the internet before he was a writer, and I think he was really surprised that anyone remembered the Power Rangers online archives.
Yeah. I mean, but that's kind of like your life model, though. You look at that.
Oh yeah. Somebody who was a fan of the show who eventually became a writer. Yes, that is absolutely what I would say is a goal for me as well.
Yeah, you want to do what Amit did.
Exactly. I don't think I've made any secret of that.
Amit should write the 35th Power Rangers season.
Anyway, so we've done this huge deep dive about the nature of writing Power Rangers.
Alright, so how about the episode we just watched?
So yeah, that's what I was going to say. Regarding this actual episode, it's difficult to judge because it feels like, to an extent, a middle chapter. And I'd be hard-pressed to say exactly how well it serves its purpose until I see the conclusion.
Okay, so you feel like last episode was a part 1, this is a part 2, and next is going to be a part 3?
Yeah, I mean, calling last week a part 1 is a little loose.
But it might be suffering from middle movie syndrome?
A little bit. And one of the problems was, I think it tried to do a few too many things, and it didn't quite work. Like, for instance, we had the, mind control plot with Evil Mick, and for some reason that needed Victor and Monty being clowns.
And a breakup.
And in order to have Victor and Monty as clowns, you need to have auditions, which induced a breakup for Haley and Calvin.
I feel like they were going after the breakup when they came up with this. I feel like it was like, we need to have Victor and Monty as clowns, and we need these guys to break up. How can we make both of those happen with one thing? And that's how we got the weird auditions. That
was weird. And then we also got Brax's destruction, which, it was just a thing that happened.
That was kind of anticlimactic, actually, considering it was Brax.
Yeah, and that happened really in the middle of the episode, which was also again, structurally very strange. I feel like, to a large extent,
The plot thickens, and so does the gravy.
Haley and Calvin breaking up is, from a character development standpoint, a major event.
Yeah,
like, it is a major disruption of status quo.
It was also a major butt pull.
And it was, it was a problem on a number of points. One, it was rushed. Two, this is the penultimate episode, and, where we didn't have any lead into this, and it happened very quickly. But also, this is the penultimate episode. We have other plot points happening.
Yeah, do we really need to throw another thing
those.
into the mix? When we've only got one episode left to go?
Yeah. And, okay, I get it. It's not a bad idea to have, okay, the power couple of the show, break up in the second to last episode and they resolve it in the last episode. That's not inherently a bad idea.
But you could have given us some clue it was going this direction.
The way it was, it could have been, just like we, led into things with Mick being mind controlled, we could have led into this a little bit more.
I mean, yeah.
If we're going to lead into this finale, you know what, let's lead into the character aspects
if this is
of it.
going to become a problem because, Calvin is generally, basically he's letting her down a lot.
Yeah.
Needs to have started before this episode.
Yeah.
He needs to have, forgotten some other stuff that was important.
Now, I recognize that, we got a little callback to her, overcoming her stage fright and becoming, and actually we even got a reference to that last episode with Mr. Lund.
Yeah.
So we are seeing little elements of character.
But then they totally
development
handed Calvin the idiot ball when they got to the end, and he was like, hey, isn't it a good thing I screwed up?
And you see, one of the problems with putting that breakup moment there is that
well, first of all, it wrecked the pacing of the episode.
It wrecked the pacing of the episode. That was really the big problem with this episode, was the character conflict disrupted the main
have a good rest of your work day, Anthony.
All right, have a good one.
You must be on second shift.
Because
or another time zone.
They see Victor and Monty get kidnapped.
And then they stop to have an argument.
Well, and then immediately we have the fight with the monster.
That's true.
We bring in Brax. We have the Zord fight. And then we have the breakup.
They could have called back to that.
And then...
Why didn't they call back to that?
After the breakup, then we have the rest... Then we have Haley getting... realizing she's wrong. And then they go back to the school. None of that made sense.
And they didn't even bother to mention the fact that he forgot their anniversary.
Yeah, he forgot their anniversary in the second episode of the season. You know what? That would have been a perfect thing to call back to. And
you forgot her anniversary.
Yeah. She's been forgiving of a number of things.
She has been.
And you know what? She's also been hypercritical on a number of things, as we've talked about before. These are elements of their characters
that exist,
and they were not. They kept it all. They kept the conflict between them limited to what was going on in this episode, and the conflict between them in this episode was not enough to make the.
Okay, but the thing of it is that you can make up for something, but if you keep screwing more things up, it doesn't. Making up for something
doesn't erase it.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm going with the devious saying here that he made it up to her with the calendars, forgetting the anniversary thing. At a certain point, you gotta stop letting someone down. You can't just make it up every time.
I personally don't understand why they didn't go straight back to the base immediately after the fight. Because that felt like that was what needed to happen.
Right. The breakup, it just wrecked the episode. It was put in the absolute wrong place. It came out of nowhere.
There was...
It didn't need to be there.
And I don't know exactly how it could have worked better, other than just for this not to have the plot that it did.
Honestly, if we were going to have this breakup and have them get together near the end of the season, then I think the breakup would have been better positioned in the episode where he decided to quit school.
Fair. I get what they're going for. They wanted to have that added source of tension going into the finale, and I can respect that.
I don't know anything about Kamen Rider Zeo.
It's an anniversary season where he time travels to visit all the other Kamen Riders. And yeah, I can see, yeah, Kamen Rider Geo is to an extent a Kamen Rider version of Hyperforce. That's fair.
Well,
I
that's the
think
other thing. They are
I
teenage.
think
They're
if
both
they were going to have the
teenagers.
breakup, they should have still been going to the base. Like maybe have the breakup in the base. And you know what? If you're going to have Rangers mind controlled, how about this? Have every Ranger but them get mind controlled because they're in the middle of a breakup, and then they need to work together to work things out for the finale.
Perfect. It's the old locked in an elevator shtick done a little bit differently.
Yeah, instead we just have Calvin as the one Ranger who's mind controlled. Now, that may work with whatever they're doing for next week, I don't know. I don't know exactly everything they're setting up for next week. But, among everything else, Madame Odious' plan was very vague from the beginning. They explained it at the end. At the very end, we understand what her plan is. We don't know why, because at no point before now has she expressed any interest in conquering the universe.
I mean, apparently, Madame Odious has noticed that human beings are literally the Zerg.
Yeah, pretty much. There's just a lot of them, and they may be weak, but you can use them, because there's a lot of them.
There are billions of us. And it's true, if you throw billions of human beings at a problem, they will solve it.
But up until now, she's had no interest in building an army, conquering the universe. Right. But for some reason, she keeps wanting to destroy the Ranger. The only motivation we have established for her before this episode was she wants the Ninja Power Stars. We don't know why, we just know she wants them. Apparently, she wants them so she can conquer the universe. We found that out today. And nothing about her plan has anything to do with the Ninja Power Stars.
I mean, maybe she figures that with all these humans, she can get the stars and then take all the humans.
She wants to defeat the Rangers, but the plan itself, outside of defeating the Rangers, the main plan has nothing to do with the Ninja Power Stars.
Nothing to do with the Ninja Power Stars. It was pointless, Saban.
Yeah.
Yup.
It's very frustrating that the villain has such a vague motivation that's not revealed until the end of this episode, and it's done at the same time, and it's done for the purposes of expositing to the heroes.
Oh, I
without
agree, Devious.
it being intentional, which is strange. It's not intentional on the part of the villain. It's intentional on the part of the writers for the villain to be expositing in front of the heroes.
I agree, Devious. I mean, he does have a lot of quote-unquote BS for her to put up with.
Yeah,
But the thing of it is that she has been, in all instances that we've seen to this,
Haley?
very forgiving and very patient.
Yeah.
And then she kind of just snapped. And I would have liked to have seen even just one episode of her being kind of on edge about it and about to snap before it snapped.
Also,
Kind of a warning period of, dude, you got to get your act together.
yeah, 3-strike system. We didn't get the strikes presented in such a way. It's like, if you had the 3 strikes you're out,
Not that 3 strikes you're out is how you should run your relationships.
No,
We're
no.
talking about plot.
But let's say we had a 3-strike system. Let's say you're playing baseball and there's a 3-strike system. Let's say you missed the ball twice, but nobody mentioned that missing the ball 3 times leads to an out. What if it was just like a situation where, all right, you missed the ball, that's okay. All right, you missed the ball, that's okay. All right, you missed the... No, you're not allowed to miss the ball. Go. Get out of this game. That's basically how it felt.
And that's why I was saying, I would like to have seen, like, a bit more of a, like, Haley on edge kind of... Calvin needs to be on thin ice before this happens.
Yeah.
Then, that would have made total sense. But since he was never on thin ice, I mean, they have had their spats before, but if you've ever been in a relationship, you know that you can have a full-on spat like they had over the anniversary that does not come to a breakup and does not count as a strike in any way.
That does not strain the relationship.
It doesn't strain the relationship because it gets resolved. And that doesn't mean it's erased,
right.
It means it's resolved. And the thing of it is that if it's not resolved, then those kinds of things pile up.
I will also say this. The writers worked very hard, but I don't think they succeeded, in trying to present both characters as to an extent being in the wrong. But in order to do that, they made both of them behave in an exaggeratedly wrong manner, and that, you know,
yeah, I mean,
made it uneven. It wasn't like, oh, I can see this one issue from both sides. It's, no, they're both doing two different things, and we keep veering back and forth between what is the actual issue.
They did that on the anniversary episode, too. When he forgot the anniversary, they tried to make her seem unreasonable.
No, they didn't. I don't think so, at least. Because she didn't flip out on him at all. She didn't have any negative reaction to it. I think it's more so during the play episode, they made him seem unreasonable, even though she was being dodgy the whole episode.
Okay, that's the one,
That's what it was.
She was being dodgy the whole episode. They tried to make him seem unreasonable. But
it's like, oh, the issue is you were late and you didn't do this thing. No, the issue is that you criticized. No, the issue is that you know, they couldn't decide on what their issue was.
Because frankly, here's the thing.
And there was too much juggling.
And he walked right into it, too, repeatedly. Yeah. Because, Frank, look, you forgot the things? Okay, you forgot them. You didn't do...
Now, I'm sorry, I've got to say, I realize that we're about to run out of footage on the camera. So, before that happens, I'll just sum it up. This episode was frustrating. It didn't balance its plots right. It rushed a little too much. But we'll see if what it was setting up will pay off next week.
Fair enough.
So, until next... Okay, wow, that cut out just as I started to salute. Alright, so here it comes. So until next time, farewell, Ranger fans, and let the power protect you.
I can't believe that happened.
It was a cliffhanger.